Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we are looking at Boom Studios Power Rangers Unlimited HyperForce. So, what is HyperForce? I have no frigging clue. No, I'm joking. I sort of have an inkling. So, I believe it was a podcast or a live stream of the very talented Paul Scat. I can't even say his second name, sorry, who played Bulk, and some other unknowns. Probably not unknowns now. And I think they used to do a sort of online episode where they would read through these amazing stories that they create in these characters they create, which is kind of cool. Of course, I've never watched it, so I probably should have checked it out before I actually started reading this, because maybe I would understand these characters a little bit better. And when I looked at this, I think I actually put this off because I generally didn't have any affiliation with the characters. However, we're going to get into this. So this is written by Melissa Flores, who's doing the main Power Ranger run, and Meghan Camarena. I think I pronounced that right. Illustrations are by Federico. Sabbatini, I hope I said that correctly. Brian Valenza is on the colors, and as always, Ed is on the letters. So our story begins with Chloe Ashford addressing some soldiers. So this is another timeline. The Power Rangers lost to the bad guys, pretty much. There are not many Rangers left, which is usually a norm anyway. So Chloe gives the story. So in this timeline, it is set just after probably Time Force. There is an academy, which is normal, and basically in this timeline, the same sort of thing happened. Andros shattered Zordon's glass, and he killed some of he purified the universe. Not all of it, obviously, because otherwise we wouldn't have had all the seasons afterwards. But there was a team of bad guys called the Alliance that wanted to go back in time and prevent that from happening. And the HyperForce were formed to prevent that from happening. However, the discovery is that, I forgot her name already, for goodness sake. Chloe, I almost said Grace for some reason. Chloe's father is actually the leader of the Alliance. Yeah, just like that. So, and he prevents it from happening, and the bad guys win. Hence, we're in this state now. Now, Jen Scott, aka Time Force Pink, did try to take out some of the generals. However, she was taken out like a burrito. And we sort of get confirmation that she's not dead, but she did a lot of damage. So, they are going to go take... So, the snipers are in position. They are on the attack. However, there are no snipers today, as Jack, the yellow Power Rangers, and I got a bit confused here. So, Chloe is playing on the bad guy. She is reunited with her evil father, and she is acting as a bad guy, so to speak. So Jack comes in. She has a battleizer as well, which is very, very cool. And they discuss about the team. They fight for a bit, and Jack reaches out to her. So he wants her to come and help him do things right. However, Chloe is a little bit resilient, so Alpha 55 zaps her so that they could take her on the ship. So then they start talking about what's going on, where the other team line, how they made mistakes. So the other team members, which is Joe, who I think was married to Nadira, who was one of the villains from Time Force, as well as others, Marv, Robogel, Romeo, and Vesper, have all sort of gone their separate ways for separate reasons. Now Jack has brought in Chloe to come and help him put this team back together. and she's probably the most powerful with the battleizer as well. So she's in. She's offered to help. So first they go to Santa's grotto. Yeah, that's right, I said Santa. And in the Power Rangers universe, Santa is real. So Vesper has become head elf, and that's because they're fighting the naughties. So so they morph into action to fight the naughties, etc. I do like this bit. They've got different little call outs like Cerebrus Maul, Hurricane Whirlwind, Ram Rage, which I thought was very, very cool. So once that is done, Vesper, who is a robot, has agreed to come back with the other two Rangers, and she is asked, where is Eddie? Now, Eddie was her boyfriend, who was annoying her, so she dropped him somewhere. And she also gets very jealous of Alpha 55 when it comes to Eddie as well. So, but she's a robot. She can be forgiven, right? So, the question isn't where, it's when. She has sent him back in the olden days when King Arthur's court ruled, and he is about to marry the princess. So, anyway, she says, no, come on, let's get back together. And, well, Eddie is straight, let's get back together. This is an affront to the king, who sends his evil villains onto them. So they escape while getting all sorts of muck sent at them. Vesper takes this as the people like them. So they're all giggling at each other, even though they have just been split. And Chloe reminds them that the timeline is broken because of us, not because of them, because of her dad. Her dad, what he did, etc. So, and you're just all having a laugh after all this mess, and this isn't right, none of this matters, it's important, etc. And then they start talking about how they didn't notice how Chloe was broken and upset, and they all sort of missed it, etc. So all this leads to, after this moment of clarity, is she pretty much says that she's held her end of the bargain, even though there are 3 other Rangers still out there. However, her dad has generously gathered them up. And she says, for what? I accept your apologies. And Vesper's like, damn, was I that cold when I was bad? So pretty much she's been playing the other side all along, just to capture all the Rangers in one critical swoop so that they can be, I guess, eliminated. Let's find out what happens next. So Chloe's dad is very, very proud of her and what she's achieved in terms of capturing the Rangers. But then he does the ultimate bad guy thing and says that she has to destroy her friends. They're too dangerous to live, which was expected. To be fair, we expected that to be the move of an evil villain. And she gives them a couple of minutes to explain everything. And apparently, Daddy Dearest is working with Mistress File in another universe, another dimension. And they're about to bring Dark Spectre out into the universe. And as such, this is a lot bigger than just their universe right now. So she doesn't trust them, but she chucks them offers. Then she goes to see Alpha 55, who has been broken in 2 pieces, which makes her very, very sad. And all she wants to do is, she thought she could save Zordon, find my mum. Save Zordon, find my mum. So that's weird. So she's saying that her mum's not dead at this point. So that's going to lead me and Sank into a minute, which I thought was a bit bizarre. So then they talk about the HyperForce ship, which is probably one of the most powerful things to travel through hyperspace, etc., and other dimensions, which is perhaps what her father really wants. So she knows what she has to do. She has to confront her father. Now, she knows who her father is, but yet she's still trying to see the good in him, or trying to get him to be better. And it's a bit ridiculous, and all he wants is power. So the Rangers are trying to get their morphers, and it's down to Alpha 55, who must have been restored by Chloe, who saves the day and then frees them. And then they morph. Now, the weird thing about this is Chloe is not with them. Yet she morphs at exactly the same time. Absolutely bonkers, and would only happen in a Power Rangers comic. I thought that was really, really bizarre. So, Daddy Dearest is still trying to get Chloe to be on his side because the mistress will be victorious. And it makes sense. The Rangers are finding their way out, and the Red Ranger finally makes a decision, and that is to leave Chloe and head towards. And that is to save Chloe. The choice is to leave without Chloe, but he makes a decision to go save her. And sorry, I've jumped ahead because we're not quite on that page. Meanwhile, Mistress Files putties are turning up, etc. And she's still pleading her dad to stop, which the fact that he went and did all this damage, I'm not sure what she thinks she's trying to achieve. So the Rangers come to rescue her. And he does refer to them that they wipe themselves from their own timeline. So do they even exist? So I guess that's in one of their podcast episodes, etc. So the team that produced HyperForce must be feeding information into the writers here. I'm not sure about the second writer, whether whether Meghan is actually part of that production team, so that she's given valuable information as well as writing here, because somebody was writing that material, right? We also get lots of other things: Python Ambush, Hounds of Hades, Hyper Blaster, Hydra Hack. That's typical of it being green, because Hydra in the Marvel Universe are green. So I just thought I'd say that out loud. So Jack says, "You don't know what you had." She was a great... she would be a great daughter, that sort of stuff, Now, the big villain drops the bomb. You destroyed my time. So Grace says, "You destroyed my timeline. You need to destroy me. You killed my mother." And he says, "I didn't. Your mother is alive." Such a villain move, hey? But I go back to a couple of pages ago where she sort of did indicate that her mother was dead. So I thought that was a bit bizarre. So they all get on the thing. Red Ranger is happy that Chloe is with them, and he says, "I made a decision, so I hope you're not evil." So they head back to a place where they can perhaps work with other Rangers in another timeline. Well, at least I think I do. It could be the same timeline, because it's not clear. It doesn't actually say, etc. So, in fact, these are probably Wild Force, not from normal standard universe, from their HyperForce universe. And they get there, and they find that Shayla has been almost killed. And we get Taylor, the Yellow Ranger, stating that the last Ranger that came through that came to us actually has a skull on its face, and it's called Death Ranger, and we trust it, and he killed Shayla, and it's taken some of our Rangers. And he said that the mistress wanted everything. And it says, "To be continued." Now, in reality, I probably should have read this before I read the prelude to Darkest Hour, because that end scene would have told me why those Rangers are together, because I didn't actually know why the Wild Force Rangers with them. But clearly, Death Ranger has taken them under their wing, manipulated them, controlled them, whatever you want to call it. And they are not from this universe, so they are not the usual Wild Force Rangers. So there we go. So I thought I actually really surprisingly enjoyed this, and as I got into it, I really grasped the characters, and I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't necessarily mind reading more HyperForce stories in the future. So, but we'll see what Boom begin. I guess this is a risk for them. I mean, I bought this because I collect every Power Ranger comic. I've got the entire comic every single issue that's been released. So I was always going to grab it, but there are going to be people that pick and choose, etc. So very interesting. So I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. If you do like my review, please support my channel by subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you to those that are already subscribed to my channel. Make sure you look after yourself, very important these days. And as always, embrace geekiness. Oh, and tell me what you think of this issue. Take care. Goodbye.